Yes.
There's two of them.
What branch is Congress? See Congress, what are we talking about? Legislative. So the legislative branch, they can override the veto with the 2/3 vote. They get to approve or disapprove of judicial appointments, and they have the power of impeachment. Which it's all kinds of hype, and nobody understands what impeachment is. What is impeachment? No. There's nothing to do with that. Impeachment is accusing of a crime. That's what impeachment is. The punishment might be removing from office if you're found guilty, but impeachment means to accuse you of a crime. And when we get to the president, we'll talk about all how impeachment works. Judges are impeached way more than presidents. We've had three presidents impeached. None have been removed from office. One was found guilty, and they said, "We're so mad at you. Why did you do that? We're just so mad at you." It's the parent in Walmart. Then the kid ends up getting a toy. But anyway, impeachment, they can impeach judges, and they can impeach a president or vice president.
What do judges do to get impeached?
It has to be committing a crime, breaking the Constitution. When I say commit, okay, Bill Clinton was impeached for perjury. He lied under oath. That's a crime. There are people in jail for lying under oath, lying on false testimony or something. If a judge, you can't impeach a judge because you don't like them. You can't impeach a president because you don't like them. There has to be some sort of crime or some sort of accusation of crime. And it probably has to do with mishandling their court or maybe just any kind of crime or doing things wrong, breaking the Constitution. But that's a power that the Congress has over the judicial branch and the executive branch.
So when the Bible took the last year, what were they saying?
Abuse of power and
Because he called another country and tried to find they're going to go back.
you had to do with Ukraine. And I think they said the accusation was getting them to investigate something. But they said no, not guilty. Now, I try a lot of times not to be biased. Sometimes I'm biased and I say, hey, I'm biased here. To be really honest here, Biden has connections to Ukraine also. Ukraine and Russia almost had a civil war. Do you remember, y'all were little, and it was the summertime, and some big Dutch airliner got shot down over Ukraine and killed everybody on the plane? That was during this Civil War deal. Ukraine is where a lot of the nuclear weapons from the Soviet Union were held. It's a strategic area. Joe Biden's son was a high up in a Ukrainian oil company and had connections in the government, and there's a lot of investigating of that. But you don't hear a lot about that because it's media bias and stuff. But anyway, we get this. All right, we get there. We're gonna finish these up today. You'll have a little time to have fun. Can we finish 8? That's where we at. Okay. We're gonna get when we get to the president, we'll get more into how the president gets elected. But do you see why they didn't want just a popular vote? It's different today. We're just idiots. They wouldn't have known who the people are. Don't want to let Congress, and I didn't mention this part of it, You don't want to let Congress or the House pick the president. What's the big reason for that? They would have control of the president. You know, if they pick you, then you're gonna want to do what they want you to do. That's not good. And then what did I say is what I kind of like about the electoral bill? What does it make the people do? Kind of go and spread out at least to different parts of the country. So, all right, what's adjourn mean? End. Yeah, dismiss. What, it was September 17th, 1787. That's when they finished the Constitution. What had to be done to it? They had to ratify. They finished it. Now they got to let the states decide. So it was not ratified, not voted on. That's when the process started. That's when James Madison wrote the Federalist Papers and tried to get people to go for the Constitution.
That's when it was adjourned?
That's when they finished. Yeah, that's when they finished it. Finished writing it, and they voted on it. The committee said, "Yeah, we like this one. This is good." Then the people had to vote. That's okay. What had to be done after the convention? Has to be ratified. The states had to approve it. I think it was. I want to say it was 3/4 of the colonies or the states had to approve it. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm going to say it was 3/4 and not half. Today's review. Anti-federalists. What's the big deal with the anti-federalists?
They don't want it strong.
They wanted a weaker federal government. Federalists wanted stronger federal government. They didn't want it weaker than the Articles of Federation. What they want the government weaker than? They wanted the states to have power. I say this all the time. The Federalists wanted, they didn't want King Kong, they wanted a little, is a macaw, a monkey, am I wrong on that? A tiny baby chimpanzee is what they wanted. They didn't, okay, that's right. What am I thinking of? A little.
Yeah.
But are they in there a monkey with an M?
Curious George?
Look up little monkey.
Chimpanzee? Little monkey.
Chimpanzees can rip your face off though. They didn't want that.
You got shot. Gang,
Capuchin.
What?
Capuchin.
Is there not a monkey that starts with? I know monkeys start with M. I thought there was like a little monkey that started with M.
The one with the mustache?
I don't know. I'm not a monkey guy. Maybe that's it. We'll just say that.
What's that?
Okay. Is it tiny? They want a tiny little monkey.
Let's just call him Curious George.
They want a puppy.
Actually, yeah, no, the man's pretty small.
They want a puppy. All right. Not King Kong, but they just want one stronger. Okay. We'll move on from that. All right, the Federalist Papers. We mentioned this before. Federalist Papers. What was the job of the Federalist Papers? Promote what? Constitution. It was advertisement for the Constitution because it had to get ratified, and he wrote these documents, these papers, and spread them out in the newspapers, spread them out all over the country to promote the Constitution, trying to get the states to ratify the Constitution. Who wrote it? Almost all of them. James Madison.
What would have happened if they didn't ratify the Constitution?
They'd have to be, then the Articles of Federation would be in place until they did something different. But it really is amazing, even if you don't care anything about government, to look back and say these guys came up with this just out of nowhere, just made it up. It's pretty good. I can't make up stuff. I can copy stuff, but I can't make up stuff. I can't come up with stuff that doesn't exist. It's not wired like that. All right, to get the Anti-Federalists to go along, what did they do? What did the Anti-Federalists want?
Where did it go?
Okay, the Bill of Rights. They wanted specific rights protected. So they came up with the Bill of Rights. Actually, they didn't call it the Bill of Rights. They came up with 12 amendments. And they passed those around to the states. And 10 of them were passed. The 27th Amendment was one of those. It passed later. Let me see if I can figure out what the other one was. It had to do with, it was kind of weird. It had to do with the House of Representatives. Oh, I know what it was. This wasn't work. It was something to say, like a minimum amount. It tried to say something like, the House of Representatives can't have more than 5,000 people per representative. That wouldn't work today. There'd be several thousand people in the House of Representatives. We'd have to have all these new chairs and build new buildings all the time. But they got rid of that one. So that one was not there. The bad thing about the House of Representatives is, all right, let's say you represent 10 people. Can you represent 10 people? Because there's going to be differences of opinion. I mean, not all 10 are going to say, yeah, you did a good job. Some are going to say, that's crap, I didn't like that. We have about one representative for every 700,000 people. But even if it was 10 people, we'd have the same problem. Does that make sense? Because you're never going to make everybody happy. Although, in the old days, in the 70s and 80s, back in the old days, our district, when I grew up in Weatherford. Our district went from Weatherford to Abilene and probably Decatur to Granbury. Are the people in that area, do they have a lot of things in common? They have a lot in common there. A lot of farming, a lot of ranching, little gas and oil, relatively small towns. Today, our district goes from somewhere west of Decatur to South Lake. Would that be hard to represent? You got South Lake, and you got Roanoke, and then you got Decatur. So there's a lot. That'd be tough to represent that much people. Did I get that one good? Good there? Yeah. 10 of those 12 amendments became Bill of Rights. What did Americans not trust? Government. They didn't trust government. They didn't trust the government they knew. A powerful government. They were scared of it. The Federalists were scared of a powerful government. I don't know everything here. What did the supporters of the Constitution agree to get it ratified? The Bill of Rights. We'll add the Bill of Rights for you. So they agreed to the Bill of Rights. What's Iran's constitution called their first 10 amendments? Bill of Wrongs. Don't write that down. That's not good. Okay. Civil liberties and civil rights. If y'all end up going to some college or taking some class, they're probably going to answer this different. Y'all heard of civil liberties before? You heard of civil rights before? All right. What do you think civil liberties would be? They're different, but they're similar. What's the Declaration of Independence say? Pursuit of happiness. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Civil liberties. My definition of civil liberties is, okay, just remember Declaration of Independence. Civil liberties are what every human being has. Little kid born in Iran. Should he have civil liberties? He may or may not, but he should. Every human being should has the right to civil liberties: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You're gonna have trouble getting the laces right. Some of them you just can't get them right. Civil rights are found in the Constitution, or they're protected by the Constitution. Speaking of, I need to go over something after this. Civil rights involve your ability to participate in daily life and in the government, like voting and running for office and having a job and buying a house, just living. So civil rights involve your ability to live a daily life and to participate in government. Does that kind of make sense? Do you know what it's like to live my life? No. Pacer, you don't know what it's like to live my life. You've been around it, but you don't. We don't know what it's like for each other to live. And we assume that your life is like my life. Because that's what we know. Marie Antoinette. What did Marie Antoinette say? When they were told, the French people, when she was told the French people was starving to death. Let them eat cake. They said the people have no bread. She was a queen. She said, we'll let them eat cake. And everybody got ticked at that. Did she mean anything bad by that? No. That's all she knew. She couldn't comprehend not having things. Because her whole life was, there's just stuff everywhere. She said, well, they're out of bread, just have them eat cake. That's easy. My senior year in college, I worked for the city of Sherman. I was contract labor. Y'all mean contract labor? It means they don't take taxes out. And they told me, they said, we're just not going to take taxes out. I was like, okay. I should have known better. All I knew was my check was bigger. All right, no taxes taken out. Then it got to be April. I went, oh, I got to do taxes. Oh, crap. They didn't take taxes out. I had no money. And I was all upset. My friends were trying to help me figure this out. And Missy Always, she was a spoiled little girl from Dallas. She's sitting at our table and she goes, well, just have your accountant do it. And we all just turned our head and looked at her. She goes, well, that's what Daddy does. Just have your accountant do it. She didn't mean anything by it. She didn't understand life. Her life was, Daddy takes care of it. We have plenty of money and the accountant will deal with that. You know. And I didn't hit her. I just walked away. Everything worked out all right, but we'll get to that with taxes. I have no idea what it's like to walk in someone else's shoes, to live their life. I know what it's like to grow up in a small town and play sports and hang out and laugh and giggle, and I know what it's like to go to some little bitty college. I know what it's like to go to some big college. I know what it's like to coach and teach in some little town. I don't know what it's like to coach and teach at a 6A school. Biggest I've been is 4A. Somebody growing up in inner city Dallas, I have no idea what's like. That's like. I have an idea of it, but I have no idea what's that like. What that is like. Everybody in America is supposed to be guaranteed civil rights. Are French citizens guaranteed constitutional civil rights?
If they're in America.
I don't want to fall off the cliff, but I'll say yes.
They're in America, but they're French citizens.
We don't have to guarantee those civil rights, but I like that we do because that makes us different. That makes us not Al Qaeda. That makes us not ISIS. You know. But the difference is every human being has this. Not every human being is protected by the Constitution. Not every human being not in America is guaranteed to have the right to just participate in daily life and that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? Really, and if there's no difference between these in your brain, I don't have a problem with that really. But in America, we have these rights protected. Not every human being has these rights protected where they live. Now let me shift gears. We can write something down here. I want to write this down here. The Constitution does something for you. Can you figure out what the Constitution actually does for you? Yes, it tells government what it's supposed to do, what it can't do, what it can do. What does it do for you? It protects your rights. The Constitution protects you from what? The government. The main job of the Constitution is protect you from the government. To protect your rights. And if there's people whose rights ain't protected, that's a problem. There is something the Constitution does not do. I don't think I've done this one yet. The Constitution does not give you rights. Does not give you rights. It protects rights you already have. You don't have these rights because the Constitution says so. You have these rights. And then the Constitution protects those rights from the government. Doesn't give you rights. The French guy living in wherever, French town, he has these rights. They might not be protected in France, but he has those rights. They're not protected. Does that make sense? I made that up, but it's true. I didn't make it up. I made up that observation. That is actually true. Okay. Having said all that, we talk about the freedom of speech, talk about all your rights in the First Amendment, all that. Why do we limit your rights? Why are your rights limited? Think of the job of the Constitution. What's the job of the Constitution? Protect your rights. So why do we limit your rights? To protect your rights. If we don't limit rights, we don't have rights. If you're in a theater, you can't go, fire! Why do we say you can't do that? That limits your rights. Then you're not causing someone else to break their leg. To protect your rights, we limit rights. We put limits on individuals so we can actually have rights and have those rights protected. We do have laws about so you can sleep at night. You know what I'm saying? So your rights are limited so you can have rights. Sometimes in life, because we don't know everything that goes on, we think something's stupid and they shouldn't be doing that. We have a play called Midline. In a midline, you don't block the team's best lineman. Isn't that stupid? The best lineman, the best defensive lineman that team has, we don't block him. That sounds dumb, doesn't it? Well, that's dumb. You gotta block people so you can... No. Okay?
That's why I did.
This is a 3 technique. I'm gonna teach you some football here. 0, 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6. Okay? Here is a different deal, different thing. 1 technique, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay? Shades are odd numbers. Head up is even numbers. It's a 3 technique. Why is he called a 3 technique? Lopez, why is he called a 3 technique? He's lined up in the 3. Look how smart you are. That's awesome. So on a midline, we go, do not block this guy. Don't block him. And the quarterback takes the ball, looks at him. And if he goes, we go. And if he goes, we go. It's not dumb not to block the best lineman they have. That's not dumb. That's actually smart. That means more people can block other people. So if I was to tell somebody, guess what, we're not gonna block this guy. You're an idiot, buddy. You know, anyway. Yeah. All right. Does that make sense? Why we limit your rights and your liberties? So you can actually have it. Is there a situation where the government could come in and censor us and limit free speech and censor the press?
Isn't it like a time of crisis or something like that?
In a war. That's the most censorship, the most least freedom we have. Because news has changed. In World War II, you had reporters with the troops writing stories and giving radio reports. Today, what do they have? You have TV reporters filming and in the battles with them. Are they limited as to what they can say and what they can show? What's the purpose of that?
So that people don't know all the, we don't need to.
If we know, they know. And we don't. I always say if it doesn't work in B team football, it doesn't work in life. In B team football, you're not going to come to the line and say, we're going to throw the ball this way this time. We're going to throw the ball, okay? Y'all ready? We're going to throw the ball. You don't do that, right? So in war, you don't do that. You don't say, we're going to attack them. The generals told me this morning that they will be attacking Kabul at 8 o'clock this morning. You don't do that. So to make sure we're safer, make sure that we can win, we censor stuff. Does the government censor stuff sometimes and do some things that doesn't need to be done? Yes. But why? Because they're humans. There's human beings involved. But wartime, emergency situations, that's going to be the most censorship, the most limits that we have. All right, the courts. What do the courts do to protect our civil liberties? One of the things is judicial review. How does that protect our civil liberties and our civil rights? What's judicial review?
Well, they review the people.
They can say something that government is doing is unconstitutional. And if it's going against the Constitution, more than likely it's infringing on our rights, on our protections. It's giving the government too much power. They're doing something they're not supposed to be doing. That's the first thing they get to do. Y'all ever seen Mississippi Burning? It is a good movie, but it is a punch to the gut right here. It's about the early 60s in Mississippi, and y'all heard of the Freedom Riders, people that came in and tried to help people register to vote. And it's a true story. Don't know if the story is true, don't know if every part of the movie is exactly true. This 2 white kids and a black kid, 2 college students, were driving through Mississippi. They got arrested. because there were two white kids from the north and a black kid, and they had the audacity to try to help people register to vote. So they were arrested, they were let go, and then the sheriffs and the KKK got them and killed them and buried them in a dam, an earthen dam. And it's about the feds coming in and investigating and trying to find out who did it. They could not convict the people that were guilty of murder. Why not? What is murder? What kind of crime is murder? It's a state crime. So the jury in Mississippi, of course, found them not guilty because they're doing something heroic. They're stopping these infidels from coming into our state and letting these people vote. So they are protecting the state of Mississippi. So you're not going to get a jury. But they're found not guilty. What cannot happen now? Can't be tried again. So what the feds did, they got them on violation of civil rights. Because if you kill somebody, you have violated their civil rights. And they went to federal prison. What can the courts do to protect your rights and your liberties? The courts can find when things are done wrong. You can sue people in federal court if your civil rights have been violated. So, due process in the federal courts. Now you know I was being facetious and sarcastic about protecting the state of Mississippi. So, due process, and using, what did I say with due process? Anyway, due process, lawsuits, the court system. Does that make sense? Okay, the ACLU. You don't hear of these people like you used to a while back. This is the American Civil Liberties Union. This is a group of lawyers. Bless you. And if you feel like your rights have been violated or something's being done wrong, they could help you sue that person, that company, that government on your behalf. So a group of lawyers that could possibly sue companies, individuals, the government, if you feel like your civil liberties, your civil rights are being violated. They do good. In the past, if you want a biased comment, I'll give you a biased comment, but it's based on perception. In the past, the most I've heard of the ACLU is when a kid is given a valedictorian speech and they're going to mention Jesus in it. And they'll come in and sue the school or something because this person's saying Jesus. I don't think that there's no altar call. They're not, you don't have to pay a tax or anything. So, but they do some good. Like I say, they're evil. Sometimes they sue a city because they have a nativity scene out. Is there some grounds for that? I don't want the satanic thing out, so city doesn't need to buy a nativity scene for me, that's fine. That's right. Well, if they put a star up. What if they put a star up on the courthouse for Christmas? What if they put a cross up? Could that be semi-different? Just a star. I wonder how many atheists buy Christmas presents. I wonder how many atheists get Christmas presents. I'm going to say if you get a Christmas present and you accept it, you can't gripe about anything having to do with Christmas at all. You know what I mean? If you're going to participate in this, then the only reason you're getting a present right now is because Jesus was born, not on December 25th, which is pretending. So don't gripe about Jesus being born. I don't want to hear about Christmas. Don't get a present for you. Don't get a present. How about that? Let's be honest. Let's be honest in life instead of playing both sides, you know. I will never accept a Satan's birthday gift, ever. You can buy it for me, I'll just thank you, I'll give it to you or give it to charity. I don't need that one. I don't get Christmas presents anymore. I'm the dad, I don't get Christmas presents. I did get, y'all got me the Earl Campbell autograph helmet that one year. That was all, I still got it in I mentioned that to somebody, like, that's one of the best things I ever got. That's pretty good. So, anyway. Yeah, you look forward to that. If you ever get to be a dad or a mom, you don't get presents anymore. You're done getting presents. Now you get presents for this little thing that screams all day. Please or whatever. All right, due process. What do you remember about due process?
Lawsuits and court orders.
From last week. You're arrested.
Certain rights that you have to have.
There's things that can be done to you. There's things that can't be done to you. There's things that have to be done for you. If you're accused of a crime, if you're arrested, you have rights. Whether you're guilty or not, you have rights. That's what separates us from Al Qaeda, separates us from ISIS. We don't arrest you and cut your head off. That's what ISIS does. Does that mean some innocent person gets away with stuff? Yes. I mean, a guilty person gets away with it, yes. But hopefully innocent people are not getting things done to them. That's good for this. we're gonna have some more fun today, okay? Have some fun. Fun. Okay, I'm not promising, but there's possibilities.
It's football fun.
Zero fun.
Fun.
Good. Don't say anything out loud yet. I'm going to give you a few seconds. I'm going to ask if you can figure out what the answer is. This is something you might feel. What? Missing you. That's right. Missing you. There's no you.
Wait, that was the answer?
Listen, you listen.
If you think you got it, pop your hand up real quick and I'll listen. This is a stretch, but it's makes sense. Anybody got an idea? Maybe what you got? You're full of baloney. Say that's not that.
I got it after they said it.
Yeah.
I was reading from top to bottom.
This makes you look at the face of the horse instead of the butt.
It's like Murphy's class.
This is something that you might. Oh, too late. It's too
Red
much.
face?
This is something that could happen to you.
Is it red face?
What's that?
Is it red face?
Red in the face. Good job, Taylor. Red in the face.
Oh, I gave him the red.
Red's in the face. Good job. This is something that if I'm playing basketball against Titan, this will happen.
You're gonna win.
More to it. Yes, I'm gonna win, but win with ease. Win with ease.
I feel like Ryan's looking at the computer.
We probably
Cheating. He's cheating. It's like Coach Gordon said, you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Okay. This is what Lincoln is trying to do today. Oh, okay, I messed it up. Try to understand.
Trail mix.
Trail mix. Trail mix.
Back trail. Taking PTSD. You're flying flip flops.
For instance. All right, have a good day. Good luck adding letters.